Hey everybody, it's your favorite bastard. Today, special episode. We're going to be working with eggs. We got 3 eggs in front of me now, and I'm going to show you how to make 3 different egg dishes. As you can see, we also got some unsalted butter and some sour cream. I'm going to use that in just about all 3 dishes, because I think they go really well together. Alright, to start us off, we're going to go with scrambled eggs. So of course you want a mixing bowl. I like to use a stainless steel mixing bowl. You do whatever the hell you want. Crack your egg into the bowl. And I'm just doing this with 1 egg each just to kind of demonstrate the technique or method here. So, whisk it up. Alright, so we got our egg beat pretty well there. And eggs are pretty good on their own, but they're better with ingredients. So what we're going to be doing is adding about a tablespoon of sour cream to this little vessel here. And I'm going to add just the littlest, tiniest splash of water to it. So, don't know if you can see it there, but just a wee bit of water. And we're going to stir it together with our spoon. Now, we could just add the sour cream by itself. I'm just kind of thinning it out here. A lot of recipes, well, the nicer, fancier scrambled eggs will tell you to add milk, whole milk, cream. If you're really cheap, you could also just add water. What this does is increases the volume of your egg, and it can help make it fluffy. Now, I'm using such a tiny amount because we just got 1 egg in there. Of course, if you got more eggs, add more cream. So we're going to whisk it together. So some recipes or guides say, hey, be gentle with your eggs when you beat them or when you whisk them, you know. I've noticed that doesn't really make a difference, at least how I cook my eggs, so go ahead and be rough with them. Specifically, what we're wanting to do, see those air bubbles? We are incorporating air into the mixture. This is going to make them even more fluffy. So you got to whisk it vigorously. See those air bubbles? That's what we're looking for. I went ahead and grabbed the tiniest sprigs of green onion. Again, we got small quantities here, so work with small quantities. And we're just going to chop these guys up. Going to try to do it pretty fine, like almost a mince. And I think that's going to be good enough. Let's see if we can get a focus there. And now this is also where you could add some butter. Now, don't add hot butter or melted butter. That's going to cook your eggs. So instead what you do, we're going to take, one thing I want to point out is try to buy sticks of butter that have the quantities marked out like this, because it makes cutting up your butter for certain recipes and dishes that much easier. Okay, so again, we're working with just a little bit of scrambled egg here, so I'm going to add just a little bit of butter. The rest of this is going to go in the pan. So you're probably wondering, hey, where's the salt, where's the pepper? I don't add that much salt to my food. I've also heard some arguments that salting your eggs before they're cooked, well, it can make them kind of runny and watery. I am going to, of course, add just a little bit of garlic powder. Okay, we got our pan, we got our butter melted in there already. Make sure your pan is hot, but if you're working with butter, not too hot. You can burn your butter, and that's not a great taste. So, we got our eggs scrambled. It's going to give it one final whisk. Again, we want to be seeing air bubbles, because we're trying to incorporate air into this. Alright, that looks pretty foamy. Let's go in. So different schools of thought of how to scramble. Some people think you need to constantly be moving it. I don't really subscribe to that. if you got a hot enough pan, just give it a little nudge. And this is a good sign that the nonstick was properly lubricated. We're getting no stick when we pull this guy back. And we're already starting to look like scrambled eggs. Okay, now to plate them. Nothing fancy here. All right, and there you have it, some really lovely, fluffy scrambled eggs. Okay, and we're back. Now we're going to be working on omelets, or just one omelet specifically. And we got a double yolk there. Yay, yes. So, pretty similar to making scrambled eggs. In fact, how I do it in my kitchen, it's almost 1-to-1. But the prep is 1-to-1, I should say. But the actual cooking method is where it differs. All right, so we got our egg scrambled there. Again, similar story. You really wanted to whisk it or beat it thoroughly so you get those air bubbles. And then you'd add some sort of moisture. You'd add your cream, your milk, like we showed you earlier. We did sour cream with just the tiniest bit of water to dilute it. So we'll do that again. And then I'll show you how to make an omelet in the pan. Okay, we got our butter in the pan. It's hot. It's ready to roll. So, since we're doing omelets, and I believe I've mentioned a few times before that my stovetop is unfortunately sunken in the middle, so everything slants, went ahead and put the pan on the counter here with a block of wood to protect it. So, egg goes in. And I may not have let the pan get hot enough, but go ahead and put it back on. Just keep a sharp eye on things. And we are going to work the liquid egg around. We're going to make a nice circle. Now this is how you do it for the thinner variety of omelets. And as you may have noticed, I'm using a larger pan than before. If you want a larger or wider but thinner omelet, either use less material or use a larger pan. Okay, we're going to add our filling now. I don't have much on hand. I'm not much of an omelet guy, but keeping it simple. Here's just a little bit of turkey meat. And just a sprinkling of cheese, not a lot. This is a small omelet. You don't want to overfill your omelet and then it just goes all over the damn place. All right. Take your spatula or whatever utensil you're using. Oh, and this is going to be tricky because I made this guy so thin. But that is gonna do it. Definitely not my prettiest work. I promise I've done nicer looking omelets than this. But that is still an omelet. Here. Try to tuck it in and make it a little nicer here. That looks better. Okay, let's go ahead and plate this ugly bastard. Alright, now, I called it ugly, but I'm sure it's going to taste perfectly fine. Alright, I went ahead and cut into it just to check my work. Nice little turkey and cheese omelet. Not much to look at, but tastes pretty damn good. I think you'll like it too. Alright, and we're back. This is going to be our last egg dish, and hopefully I can regain some dignity from that omelet. This is going to be eggs in a basket. Not a really common dish I see here in the United States. I think it's a little more popular over in Europe. Anyways, just start with a simple piece of bread. I have some Dave's Killer white bread. It's a little more expensive, but I think it's worth it. It's just, I've been through 2 loaves of it now, and I just really like it. Alright, so we're going to cut a hole in this bread. I got this. I have no idea where it came from. But anyways, it cuts the perfect hole in the piece of bread. You could use a cookie cutter or you can use a spoon to dig it out. But press and twist. Alright, now we have our little glory hole. And we're also going to save that guy. So you want to be just a little generous with your butter or oil here. And I'm also, before we put in our bread, going to add a little bit of garlic powder. Just a little bit, just a dusting. Alright, now, go ahead and add your bread. The goal right now is to just toast it, so just set it in there, leave it be. Alright, after you've given that piece of bread about a minute or two, go ahead and add your egg. As you can see, I cracked my egg beforehand, put it into a little vessel here because it makes adding it just a little bit easier. Right dead center into the hole there. Now, as you can probably guess, that bread is going to hold on to the egg and just keep it in place, unless it overflows because we have a particularly large egg. Yeah. So, as you can see, it just kind of tipped the pan the opposite way to try to keep it contained. And it seems to be working well enough. So just keep an eye on the bottom there, your whites. Waiting for that to become completely opaque so you can't see the bottom of the pan anymore. Okay. So it's been opaque for about 45 seconds. I'm thinking it's time to flip. So carefully now. Alright. A little darker than I normally like it. That'll taste fine. Alright, so you just repeat the process. You just leave it there. Let the bread toast. Let the egg cook. Gonna see if I can tuck that guy in. Make it a little prettier. Okay, when you feel in your heart that it is ready, go ahead and plate it. Simple as that. Lovely little egg in a basket. They're wondering, hey, what about this guy? Well, and now you have a buttery, tasty little piece of toast.